Welcome, VDL people, or whoever might be watching. This is a VDL match video. This is Sakimoto. I'm here with Beastista from the VDL V-Create League. We've got a match that's coming up. We got Ruby T taking on the South Croydon Saurs. This is from the match of... this is from Ruby T's perspective. So yeah, Beastista, what do you see here from the matchup?
First thing we can see is that it looks like the Saurs ended up bringing their Sunmoon with Venusaur and Charizard with Lipard as their Sunsetter. And on the side of the Sableyes, it looks like they have multiple of their fast horses, including Choice Scarf Spectre, to outspeed the possibility of the Pheromosa.
Really interesting sets. Glad seeing the... I mean, Ruby T locked in pretty fast. I think probably faster than I've ever locked in for a draft match. At the same... Like, this is going to be a crazy match because Ruby with the horses, he's got so many weapons. But at the same time, the Croydon Saurs, they have so many different combos they can utilize on their team. So it's kind of hard to understand the matchup just from a first glance.
The one thing that's noticeable, I'm curious about, I don't know the speed tiers on Choice Scarf Spectre versus Venusaur in the Sun. My guess is Venusaur in the Sun does not outspeed Choice Scarf Spectre if Spectre is at max speed.
Yeah, I would... Man, I just don't know the calc. I mean, that's a base 130. That's... Actually, I think Spectre outspeeds that, because Spectre should be 200 speed if max speed. With the Scarf, it's 300. I don't think Venusaur reaches over 150. So...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I agree. I think it depends on how much speed investments in Spectre. I'm assuming they should have put enough investment to make sure to outspeed Venusaur in the Sun.
And we know Sam can prep. We know he can prep. Okay, and DD Lipard coming out.
So yeah, we're gonna see if Lipard is Prankster or if it's Psychic Speed. That's gonna be noticeable or noteworthy here. Okay, so we do reveal that it is Psychic Speed, which means that it's almost certainly that it is Unburdened rather than Prankster. So this gives it a very fast speed, and I think it should outspeed Spectre, even though it has Choice Scarf, unless Lipard has very little speed investment. I think it needs close to zero speed investment for it to underspeed Spectre with Swiss.
Okay, so we see Spectre returning, not wanting to take a move from that Lipard potentially, or maybe not finding much use out of this position. A Thunder Wave. Okay, so clearly the Croydon Saurs find that Spectre a little threatening.
Yeah, that Thunder Wave makes me think that they don't. I don't know. That's very. It seems like they might have a psychic or a ghost move, or think they can be able to one shot Spectre with the NVD, or the double up with like NVD or like Snarl from Lipard or something like that.
Okay, let's see. I mean, the Indeedee Lipard, this is a classic. I mean, this is a classic combo. I've seen it in other draft leagues. It's really strong. But this Rapidash is actually in pretty good position here.
Yeah, it does not. It takes the Expanding Force pretty well, and then in addition to that, it also threatens both of them pretty well offensively. However, I do believe that they're probably going to have a Shadow Ball on the see it has a Cold Berry too.
So the Cold Berry going to mitigate some of the damage, but it's not going to mitigate that special attack drop, which is a problem for the Indeedee. Or it might be. Because it goes to the Dazzling Gleam. Not liking the Persian. That does not a lot of damage. So now...
Yeah, -1.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, -1, that Dazzling Gleam is very little. And Rapidash isn't the bulkiest Pokemon, but it did a surprisingly small amount of damage after -1 on the Indeedee.
It did, honestly. I expected a little more. I mean, Sam knows his prep. Maybe it's especially bulky Persian. Who knows? Or maybe Persian's just the OP kitty cat.
I'm curious on the rest of the moves of the Lipard. We've only seen Protect and Thunder Wave. and it has a lot of versatility. Now, imagine a sunny day as we see.
Mystical Fire, maybe? I don't know. I don't know why they'd said Sun unless... Oh, maybe for the Charizard in the back? I'm not sure. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I imagine it's for Charizard or in the back. They also might have Mystical Fire maybe, but I imagine they're expecting a switch out or maybe a kill and one of these. Oh, it is a Mystical Fire.
And to be honest, wait, did they even bring Charizard to this team preview? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, they had Charizard and Venusaur.
Okay.
And that Flare Whip kills the Life Orb, which is impressive. However, with the amount of damage that Mystical Fire did, I wouldn't be surprised if the Persian is not Fur Coat. Because that did not seem like Fur Coat damage in the Sun, even though they are at -2.
It seems like Ruby T, or Sam, was very prepped for this Indeedee and this Indeedee Lipard lead because it seems like he has a lot of control right now and is really not he wasn't threatened by it, and he took out the Lipard, and now it's a 4v3, so...
Yeah, but this Pheromosa is pretty threatening onto the team so far, and if Psychic Terrain's up, they can't really do any priority moves. And that close combat is a clean one-shot KO on the Groudon. And assuming it's Focus Sash, it has a pretty good way to kill maybe one more Pokemon.
So maybe that was some sort of read. I mean, Pheromosa just looks really good in the Dark Pokemon. So either one of its stab moves, we're going to KO that Groudon, I'm assuming.
Well, it was the close combat into the Persian. And
yeah.
So, I think I don't know if it has bug coverage, but I'm assuming that was a pretty clean kill.
I'm going to categorize that as a strategic sack, and that's what I think it was. But who knows? Yeah,
and so now Pheromosa did get a speed boost with its kill, and so I think it probably outspeeds at +1, because even though the Spectre has Choice Scarf. And it does. That's definitely a really big deal to know, but it also is a little bit annoying on the side of the Saurs because they actually don't know that the Spectre's Choice Scarf.
So wait, that Spectre outsped with, or did not outspeed?
So Pheromosa got a +1 speed boost because it got a kill, and its speed stat is higher than its any other stat.
Right. Oh, it's okay. So it makes sense that it was that speed. Yeah, that makes
sense. It's a big deal for Game 2 that the Choice Scarf is not revealed likely.
That is actually really, really interesting information. I feel like Game 1s are, and we've talked about this before, they're really good for acquiring information, and missing things like that because of some of the intricacies of these situations can be a big deal for games 2 and 3.
So it looks like they're checking their speed, and we can see that they are not max speed. They are modest, and so that definitely makes me unsure if they'll outspeed a Venusaur. But I'm assuming that they should have trained to do that. I'm assuming they're just checking to see if they outspeed Charizard now that they're at -1, which I would imagine they do.
Now, it doesn't appear that they have that much speed. I think it's more of a bulky Spectre with the speed being the Scarf, and it's just bulky and strong. So it's really not EV to outspeed the Venusaur. It's more just this bulky offensive threat.
So it does outspeed Charizard at -1 speed, and doesn't kill the Charizard, but does a huge amount of damage into it. Even though Charizard has a bulky berry, it looks like.
I'm always interested to see what Charizard sets that the Croydon Saurs run, because they are not afraid to run these Citrus Berry or Defensive Berry Charizard sets, knowing that this Solar Power Heat Wave stuff is just going to do work, and I really like that. They don't feel the need to run Specs or Life Orb. I think it's good prep, and it's really interesting.
So yeah, and this Charizard's in very good position. Obviously, there's the playground the first in this turn, but it definitely has a can should be able to kill both of them if the heat wave hits. But as we can see, it has Power Gem, which is probably enough to kill the Charizard.
This is 2 weeks in a row that this the Crizzle has had to deal with Power Gem Persian.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that. I do think that's funny. Back-to-back weeks against Persian.
Right? Power Gem's such a cool move because you don't see a lot of special rock moves, and Persian, a weird Pokemon to utilize it with, but really good in this matchup.
The full paralysis on the Persian, or on the Rapidash, definitely was noteworthy. That was a pretty clean kill on NDD. However, at this point, the game's pretty much over. Persian should outspeed and kill. And there we go for game one. The Sableyes win that pretty well. I definitely think there was a lot of work done on the site on the snarls from the Persian, which made the NDD do significantly less damage, and the Life Art just wasn't a great offensive threat.
It really wasn't, and we might see an adjustment here from Crizzle, knowing that. I mean, it seems like Sam is really prepared for that lead, so I'd be surprised to see that Crizzle lead it again unless he has other options that he understands that he can utilize.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if I was to guess that they might lead something like Pheromosa. The Pheromosa looked very good and was very threatening. It seemed to threaten, pretty much one-hit KOs into quite a few of the Pokemon they ended up bringing this week.
A really interesting matchup here. Crizzle having a winning record at this point. Sam hasn't been as effective this season with the Saddle Squad, although it has been pretty damn good. I will say that. But we know, Sam was runner-up last season. He can win with any team. And I find it interesting that it seems like last week and this week, he just seems really strong. And I don't want to root for him because he's like, I like to root for the underdog, but and based on record, he is the underdog, but based on how he's played the past week and this match, he doesn't seem like an underdog. He seems like really, really strong, horse riding Ruby T.
Yeah, and so it looks like Ruby T decided to go into the Trick Room mode this game. They very quickly decided on it, and then just thought a little bit and took a little while to change it, and then went back to the Trick Room. And so, as I predicted, NDD, they do bring Pheromosa as the lead, which is kind of what I was expecting as the mix-up. And it looks like what Ruby T's response is to set up Trick Room. However, NDD might have a way to stop Trick Room.
Digging the music. Digging the jam, Sam.
Yeah, NDD can have Imprison and Trick Room, so it's definitely a possibility. Trick Room could be a little bit risky. In addition, Pheromosa NDD might be able to kill the Bronzong before it set up Trick Room. However, I don't know how big of a deal that is with the Pokemon, but it seems like a pretty big deal with the Pokemon in the pack for Ruby T.
Now, if this person is fluffy, I don't know if it takes close combat. It might. Oh, throat chop it in the Bronzor. Ooh, that's big damage. Bronzor, disgustingly. Wow, that foul play did so much damage for being not very effective. Okay, so they double the Bronzor. They don't take it out. Let's see if it sets the Trick Room. I assume he will. Bronzor is disgustingly bulky with EV, like disgustingly bulky.
Yeah, that double up was a big deal. I didn't check Bronzon's ability, but I'm assuming it's heat-proof. And assuming it's heat-proof, that kind of guarantees that NDD doesn't have something like Shadow Ball.
I like the. I think it's fair to run the heat proof here, especially against a Charizard and it's potentially in Sun. So I like that. I like that play. I like that prep from Ruby T. Okay, we see 2 protects here. Is anything going to happen with the Persian and the Indeedee?
So one thing that's a little bit awkward with the lead, which is one of the reasons I think the Sableyes were a little bit hesitant on leading Persian, was that this is not a great. These Pokemon are not great in Trick Room. They're both medium to bad in Trick Room, and so the Pokemon that want to be in Trick Room are in the back. And so one of the things that can happen is that maybe the Saurs just don't attack and kind of just try to stall out the turns of Trick Room because and not give them a free switch in.
Yeah, they're definitely on the back foot here. I mean, unfortunately, Indeedee's strongest component is Expanded Force, and that it looks like poop against Ruby 2 right now. So they switch in the Liepard, get the Psychic Seed. I like that switch in.
Well, yeah, I think that's a fair switch in. Like I said, I think the plan is just not to kill Bronzor until the last turn of Trick Room and try to stall out this. Well, because if they get Glacier in for free, I do not think that the Saurs have much of a way to deal with it if there's many turns of Trick Room left.
I would agree. So if that's what Crizzle and the Croydon Saurs are going for, I like that a lot.
So I don't know about Indeedee, but we know Liepard has Protect. Assuming they both have Protect, they can theoretically try to go for the double KO here, or see if they have the ability to, and then double Protect the following turn.
Okay, so the Saurs going for a defensive play, a double Protect. Ruby, luckily he doesn't lose out on that double Protect because he goes for a Reflect, which is kind of annoying for the Croydon Saurs.
Yeah, it's really awkward for their damage output. However, this is a pretty good time. Now they can try to kill the Bronzor and see what they can do, and maybe even try to kill the Persian or see how much they can do, and then it will be the last turn of Trick Room, and then they have to bring their Trick Room Pokemon out. It does look like the Saurs successfully stalled out the Trick Room and all that took is really very minimal damage.
I think a Protect it might be obvious. Well, I think the Saurs have no choice but to target down this Bronzong. So let's see what they do. Yep, they go for the Mystic Fire. I mean, you kind of have to in that position.
So I'm curious to see what Liepard's damaging move is, since we've only seen non-damaging moves from it, and we still.
So, with Glaster in the back, if Sam can't get up Trick Room again, this does not look good against the Charizard.
I agree with that entirely. Charizard seems very concerning into the entirety of the Sableyes team if they don't get Trick Room up.
I love that move from the Croydon Saurs, utilizing the fact that Liepard's not Prankster, goes for Thunder Wave into the Persian. That way, if they do get the Charizard in, it can go for fire moves without getting snarled first. And wow, is that a full para?
Yeah, full para is pretty big there. But now I think that the Saurs are definitely in a very good position if they can get a free switch into their Charizard.
And now this is an opportunity. I mean, the Crawdon's not in bad position here. This is an opportunity for the Crawdon fans to, get on the feet right here because, I mean, Crawdon can dish out some damage in the right position. I mean, it isn't. There's harsh sunlight, but Crawdon does a lot of damage.
So they switched in the Pheromosa with the hope to get Psychic Turn up because I'm assuming they're scared of the Aqua Jet potential on the Crawdon.
Okay. So, yep, not very effective. A knockoff doesn't matter. Chunks the Pheromosa, finishes it off. Crawdon, I'm assuming it's adaptability because that's such a good ability, and it just finishes it off.
So the last Pokemon is Charizard, and we know it's Heat Wave, and I don't know how much Heat Wave does into Glacier, but I'm assuming it does an incredibly high amount of damage, and probably does even maybe 50% of the Groudon.
So I think Sam could go for a Protect on the Glacier, I think, if he has it, and then launch an attack off the Groudon. The only problem is Charizard could have Solar Beam, and if the Croydon Saurs read a Protect there, that's a risky play. So, yeah, he's opting to reserve the Groudon, or preserve the Groudon.
The one thing I'm definitely curious about is we haven't really identified. Fake Tears. Okay, yeah, Fake Tears would have definitely led that Heat Wave to kill. Was gonna say one thing we haven't seen, which was just revealed, the final move of the Life Art. So Life Art has no damaging moves, which is a noteworthy thing that we just realized.
Which can be risky to run a set like that, because now your opponent knows that they can just target down all your other mons in the other slot, and you have no way to damage them. So, I mean, maybe can Sam use that to his advantage? Let's see. I mean, Liquidation in the Sun, probably not going to KO from this range, but with adaptability, still can do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, Charizard must have a little bit of bulk if they feel confident enough to run the Agua Berry, but if Charizard goes down here, I definitely think that there's the Sableyes probably win here, because they Life Art doesn't do any damage, and their NDD is pretty low. They just got a double protect. That was huge.
That was a big play. That was a big time play. Ouch. Wow, that hurt the Groudon a lot. And it does KO from this range. Is that a crit? That's not a crit. Groudon is just crazy strong. Wow.
Yeah, that was
sun. That was in the sun. Oh, it's choice. Well, that's a choice. Oh, wait, no, hold on. That's a choice band.
Yeah. Choice band Groudon, but in the sun, and Charizard having some bulk. So now at this point, I think they are in very, very good position. So basically, if the Glacier or the Groudon can kill them in one hit, kill the NDD, the game is over. I'm assuming they can, and I don't think Dazzling Gleam can kill Glacier. And so I think so basically, I'm feeling pretty bad for the Saurs right now.
Yeah, they're in not a great position here. I mean, at this point, they might be going for pair hacks. This Groudon is going to OHKO anything it sees with the Life Orb Liquidation. Or, I'm sorry, Choice Band Liquidation.
Yeah, so that looks like what they have to do, and I think I support their decision. Just go for the Thunder Wave and hope they get a full paralysis. If they get a full paralysis, I think -2 special defense Glacier might get killed by an attack, and then just hope that Groudon can't kill you or gets fully paralyzed this turn.
Man. Okay, they're gonna see if they go for, I don't know, Dazzling Gleam, Expanding Force. Okay, Dazzling Gleam comes out, hoping to get maybe it takes out the Groudon. Not enough to take it. Well, it wasn't gonna take out the Glacier even with the crit there, but.
Yeah, I don't like that last play. I think they should have gone for a Mystical Fire or Expanding Force. I'm not sure which does more into the Glacier, and trying to get the one-hit KO. I think that was a little bit of a misplay. They needed to just not care about the Groudon, hope the Groudon gets fully paralyzed, and try to get the one shot in Glacier.
That was probably their only way out. I mean, I don't think this was a favorable position for Krizzle, but you might be right. That might have been their only way out. I mean, they could have tried to read like a misplay on the part of Ruby T, but man, the offensive pressure coming out from this Glacier and Groudon was just a lot to do.
Yeah, I guess the other out, which we did see, is that Ruby T did not click a 100% accurate move. So technically, if they would have missed the Icicle Crash, they would have lost there.
True.
But like I said, I think their play was to try to get a more accurate move and go for the guaranteed KO. However, with this, we see that the Sableyes are going to win this game. We know that the Life has no damaging moves, and so this is a guaranteed game. Just sees how much time, and we see they get the win. It was a really big win for the Sableyes. They get their second win of the season.
Crizzle, unfortunately for them, um, a really tough set, and I think a lot of, I mean, the Leipart set was interesting with no offensive move. I sort of agree with it to a certain extent. I think Ruby played and prepped phenomenally.
Yeah, I agree very much with that. Like it's just so many times moves and moves from the SARS side, which seemed very like reasonable decisions to bring, just didn't do anything because of the positioning and the specific Pokemon that were brought.
And I really wanted to see the Venusaur come out because it really, I don't know if it even has. I think if it has, maybe not very frequently. Um, I think it could have been really, I don't know. I wanted to see it, but at the same time, against a Glastrier, it's kind of hard. And against a Bronzor, which it probably doesn't do much to, it's hard to bring. I don't know. I don't know what use the Venusaur would have had. It would have been cool to see, but um, Ruby just prepped really well with the Crawd. Like the Crawdon with damage was insane. Um, and I like how he played
Well,
both game one and game two.
so I think the SARS played wonderfully game two. They completely stalled out the Trick Room,
I agree with
and
that.
if the Glacier didn't get the double protect, I think that they easily win that game. The that's kind of the big linchpin. Like obviously, I mentioned it a little bit. They probably had a slightly better odds of winning the game if they played slightly differently in the final turn, but in the end, that missed the double protect on Ruby T, realizing they needed to go for it and getting it was the big deciding factor at the end of the game.
You know, no, I think you're right. I think that was a guaranteed win. Well, not a guarantee. I struggle to say guarantee unless I think through all the details. But I think without that, the Glacier probably goes down. Then the Indeedee comes in after the Charizard goes down, takes out the Crawdon. That's game. I think, it was a sort of a lucky double protect. At the same time, you can't ignore the fact that Sam saw that as his way out, and he knew he had to go for it, and he went for it, and he got it. You don't get that double protect if you don't go for it. So good recognition by Ruby T to go for that and close out game two and get the 2-0.
Yeah, no, it was definitely well played on both sides. Like I said, I think that it's very hard to kind of do what they did with the Source did, which is kind of intentionally not kill the Bronzong for multiple turns as a means to stall out the Trick Room and not give them a free switch in, and kill them the turn that Trick Room is going to turn or end, so that they have speed advantage for the rest of the game.
I like the play from both trainers. I think Ruby T had some really. That was a big double protect, to be honest. I think both players played really well. Ruby T ended up just getting the win here. So congrats to him, and honestly, still very well played by the South Croydon Saurs. Anything else to say, Beastista?
No, I think that's all I got. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Yeah, an intense match as usual. This VDL season has been crazy, but I guess um, well played by both players and a super fun match to watch. Good luck to both these players in week 7.